Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Impact. Russell Thomas in the studio. I have two guests for the show today. We have Kiran Malik-Khan, who's the president of World Hijab Day and communications director. Dawn Booth. Good morning.
Good morning, Russell.
Thanks for having us.
Exciting that you guys have been working on World Hijab Day for 5 years. This is the 5th edition coming up on February 4th.
Mm-hmm. Right before Peter Pan Mall.
Peter Pan Mall, and it's for 2 hours. What are the times again?
From 1 till 3.
1 till 3. Where did the idea come from? Because you guys are co-founders. You came up with the idea. Do you remember what the impetus was?
Yes, the impetus is still there, not in its entirety, but Bill 60 in Quebec. That was the motivation. If you remember, 4 years ago, they were going after 4 religions, so Islam, as in hijabis can't wear their hijabs, Christianity, as in Christians can't wear their crosses, Sikhs can't wear their turbans, and Jews can't wear their kippas in public. So as a practicing Muslim who wears the hijab, that really got to me. So doing what journalists do, I did stories on it, letters to the editor in the Edmonton Journal, Calgary Herald, Fort McMurray Today. Thought I had done what I wanted to do, but it just wasn't enough, right? And then accidentally discovered World Hijab Day, which started in New York by Nazma Khan, who was a textbook case example of racism and torture. Actually, they hit her in high school, spat on her, and it was just bad. But instead of being bitter, she embraced her hijab even more, despite having to eat lunch in the washroom while crying. She said, I'm going to start something positive, and she started World Hijab Day, which is now in 190 countries. So thank you, Nazma Khan, for giving us World Hijab Day. And in 7 days flat, we put together World Hijab Day, Fort McMurray. Dawn was my first call.
7 days.
1 week.
Wow.
7
Decided
days.
and
7
put it
days.
all together.
Dawn, you remember being my first call?
Yes. Yeah.
How did it feel?
Well, I mean, when you called me, ultimately right away, I was just, I decided that I wanted to take part because it was just a no-brainer for me. Our community is full of diversity, multiculturalism, and then just the idea of the event welcoming people to come together. Yeah, I really wanted to be a part of that.
I want to back up. You said Bill 16 in Quebec.
60.
Was
60.
Bill 60?
Mm-hmm.
And was that a Quebec provincial bill, or was it a federal bill of some
I think
kind?
it was federal. It was going to go, it was pretty close to being passed, and thankfully it did not happen. But the remnants were there. What did it mean? How can you go after 4 religions? And they call them ostentatious symbols, Russell. These are not ostentatious symbols. These are mandatory things that are part of our religion.
Who's
right?
they?
The government,
Okay.
the Quebec government at that time.
I'm wondering how much this issue became front of our minds after 9/11. It seems like such a long time ago, the whole 9/11 thing, but was that a significant shift in terms of issues like this?
I think so. I think Muslims as a community, Islam as a religion, got viewed differently. People forget then that when someone takes extreme measures that they are not following a religion, they're following their own agendas. It's very easy to point fingers at a religion and its people. So Islam has nothing to do with terrorism. It's a religion of peace. Those who follow it know that killing one person is like killing mankind in its entirety. And that's the message we now had, a duty to sort of scream from the top of roofs, right? Roofs, and it became incumbent. And yes, you're right, it aggravated many things. So it now becomes necessary to have things like World Hijab Day and to continue celebrating our differences with respect. Right.
Our guests this morning, Kiran Malik-Khan and Dawn Booth with World Hijab Day. 5 years ago, the first edition, you put it together in 7 days. What happened? Like, how many people came out, and what was the response?
Oh, gee, I think there was over 100. Dozens of people came out, and we were just so inspired by the people coming themselves. My first experience, if I can explain that, putting on a job, it was at the event, and after I looked at myself, I really felt the modesty, like the beauty that came from it, and just almost elegant, like royalty, like a princess. That's actually what the first thing I said. I feel like a princess, and I was emotional from it. It really, I kind of felt like I stepped into the understanding through trying it on, right?
Dawn had tears in her eyes.
I
Made me
did.
cry too.
And that's why, and we've heard that feedback for the last 4 events. We have people coming and asking questions. That's the whole idea, is to bring everybody together by giving them an opportunity like that, it allows them to ask questions and comfortably in a really friendship, open manner, right? When you put it on the surface that we're here to communicate, understand, ask questions, it really allows that to happen. And yeah, it's the incredible feedback we've gotten from that. People sharing their experience of actually just trying it on and seeing what they look like, right?
In a broader context, the Islamic community in Fort McMurray, I get the sense, have an open door. They have people out to the mosque, and they want you to ask questions. Yeah. They're not necessarily wanting to convert.
No.
They just really want to share.
Yes.
Can you speak to that, Dawn? I have no idea what religion you might be. Do you care to even say?
Well, I grew up Catholic.
Yeah, me too.
And I don't go to church regularly, but I do have faith, right? And so in this sense, I don't feel like that holds any barriers or puts anything up against anybody else. Yeah. And exactly when you said about the whole converting thing, this event is meant to converse and not convert, right?
I love that line.
And
she came up with it yesterday.
Community is unity for us, right?
Absolutely.
So like I think of Fort McMurray. I moved here from a small town in the Ottawa Valley, but I was raised by Torontonians, and I spent a portion of my life in Toronto. So I don't know. I've always had that element of multiculturalism around me, and to come here to Fort McMurray and to have these same things taking place where we're celebrating everybody's culture and religion, and I think it's beautiful. But that's the only way we're going to be able to understand each other, is if we're allowing each other just to have our own choice and be happy with that, right? So
Kiran, from your perspective, from within the Islamic community, is this event part of a greater movement to invite people to understand more?
Absolutely. You can't understand anything unless you've done it, and that's what we say. That's the invitation. It's a beautiful afternoon out with your girls. So yes, men are invited, but women are the only ones who wear the hijab. So they're the ones who are invited to put on a hijab. We have hundreds of colors, designs, and materials to choose from. So when you wear a hijab, you get to keep it as a gift from us, free of charge. Dawn is wearing a beautiful one right now. She's got it as a scarf, so it becomes a scarf after, right?
In the second one.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And the idea is to be able to understand. So when you look at me and you're thinking, hey, wait, is someone making her do this? The answer is no. This is not oppression. I'm not a symbol of oppression. I am someone who's embracing my faith to the fullest. I'm someone who wears it with joy and pride every day. Russell, you and I go way back. I did not used to wear it. It's the 8th year for me. This November will be 8 years. I went to Hajj, the Islamic pilgrimage in Mecca, and it's a spiritual journey and a spiritual feeling that you return with, and I wanted to do it because it was a step up for me as a Muslim woman. So I did it by choice. It doesn't stop me from doing anything. If anything, I have done more with the hijab on now, right? So yes, come try it on, and that's why we say it's our modesty, honor, and beauty, because they're intertwined, right?
Modesty, honor, beauty.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Dawn, one final question before we go to break. 5 years, so you've done this 4 times now. Yeah. Has it grown? Has it changed?
Yeah, I feel like there's more. We're always. It has changed, but it's very much the same in the sense that we always feel like there's new people coming, right? We have people coming back from year to year to year, but there's still that audience of new people just coming and saying, I've never heard of this before. Whether they just moved to town or whatnot. So that's the element we want, right? There's not much to it that we would like to change. We still want to have that same, solid message and that same solid experience of just coming and understanding and trying on the hijab.
Awesome.
Yeah.
World Hijab Day coming up February 4th at the Peter Pond Mall. From what time to what time again?
1 to 3.
1 to 3. Yeah. Everybody's invited. It's primarily for females, but the men can come along and watch and experience and ask questions if they like as well.
That's right.
Kiran Malik-Khan and Dawn Booth are my guests this morning. It's Impact, a team effort of United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray, and 91.1 The Bridge. And we're back with Impact on a Tuesday morning. Russell Thomas with two old friends of mine, Kiran Malik-Khan and Don Booth, both co-founders of World Hijab Day, which is coming up February 4th at the Peter Pond Mall, I assume, in the center court.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it'll
you
be center
can't-
court.
you
And
can't miss
program
it.
starts at 1:45, so we'd love for everybody to be there by 1:30.
Love it.
Ladies can come a little bit earlier, try on a hijab, and then just stay for the program. We have some really, really fun stuff planned this year.
You know, one of the things that's changed about our community in the time that I've been here, I arrived in Fort McMurray in 1996, is the growth of the Islamic community. And seeing people wearing hijabs or even the niqab is not rare. It's common. It's every day
Yeah.
to the point that I don't even notice it anymore. This event is really giving anybody else the chance to feel what it's like, ask questions about why, and really promote understanding about something that is around us, all around us, in our schools, with our children, that we probably don't know enough about. And I'm a perfect example of that. Kiran, can I tell the story?
Which one? You scare me when you say that. We have so many stories.
Kiran, I worked with at several different places, actually, and I learned about what's the culture through you. And so thank you for that.
You're welcome, sir.
So I know that is the ultimate purpose of this event, is just
It is.
education.
It is education. It is education, and again, in a fun environment. That's what Don again said it best. It's to converse, not to convert. There's no finger wagging. There's no preaching. There's, yes, we are Muslim ladies and non-Muslim ladies, and the idea is to come together in this fun atmosphere. You want to take pictures? We have a professional photographer. Don is taking pictures that day. We have a professional videographer, thanks to Jerry and Jen Neville, who are going to be there. So if you want to be on video, hey, come on in. Mr. DeMille will be ready for your close-up, right? And again, so many choices with colors and materials. But again, also that opportunity to be able to say, hey, we know there's a platform that exists in Fort McMurray, our beautiful, diverse community, and we can go and ask those questions anytime. We have strong social media portals. You can ask us questions through there too, but you know what? Come on down that day and just see for yourself. Bring your girls, bring your boys, and bring the family to see what it's all about, right?
Kiran, you shared the story of when Dawn wore the hijab for the first time. I'm interested from you both, without being specific, I don't want you to say a name, but is there any other reaction that you've experienced in the last 4 years that stands out, a beautiful reaction of somebody or their response to wearing the hijab that jumps out?
Yeah, I can't name names, but I remember one woman trying it on, and she was in tears. You know what?
Yeah. We had one lady who said, you know what, hey, you've always said that to me, Kiran. She was a coworker as well. And she said, guess what? You can concentrate on my face more. You're looking at my eyes when I talk to you, and when you talk to me, I see the difference. So when we say modesty, as in you're now just looking at my face and concentrating on me, as opposed to things that can be distracting, my hair, again, important, but not to us as much, it becomes a deeper conversation. It's just that eye contact, that face-to-face dialogue becomes more potent. Just the hijab does that. And it was so nice to be able to hear that from someone. I had one lady who's like, aren't you hot in it? I was like, no, I just look hot in it. I don't feel hot. That's a good answer I have. So no, we don't get hot. There are different materials
Modesty
for
out the
summer.
window with that
Out the
one.
window on that one. Summer material is lighter, and winter, as you can see right now, is a little bit thicker. So they vary.
That's a great question, because I was wondering the same. I didn't want to say it, but
There you
the
go.
heat of the summer,
Yeah.
like, what do you
Yeah.
do? Like,
Light material. It's
Yeah.
just very breezy and awesome.
yeah. So the event's coming up February 4th from 1 till 3 o'clock, Peter Pond Mall, and everybody's invited. It's going to be kind of a cool experience. I know, Kiran, a cool experience for you. I'm not sure when it happened, but you've been invited to sit with the mothership of World Hijab Day. Gee, that's really technical, isn't it?
It's very technical.
Don, you want to tell what happened with Kiran? Give her news, because I saw it in the press release before I walked in today.
Yeah, Kiran's been actually been asked to apply, and she now is one of the ambassadors for the Canadian Association
For Canada.
for Canada for World Hijab Day, on an international level.
One of only 4 people
Yeah.
across the country.
Yes.
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 Wow. What does that feel like, Kiran?
It's really good. Thank you for bringing it up, Russell. But Nazma Khan, the founder, asked, and she said you should apply. So I was like, okay, I'll think about it. But she was very kind. I appreciate the support. It just simply means that we, as a committee, are doing some good work that is impacting not only our region, but our country and hopefully our world as well. The idea is to leave the world a little bit better than we found it. So we have an amazing committee. Dawn, Mariam, Aisha we actually just have 4 this year. Usually we're 12, 13 strong, but between illness and people moving out of town, we're a very small but mighty committee this year.
Well, we've done this in a week before, so.
When I hyperventilate, Dawn goes, Kiran, we've done this in 7 days. I'm like, I know, but
now we have more. So no,
you go there when you have a big event and hundreds are showing up and community leaders are asking you 6 months out, and it's awesome. We start getting questions from the mayor, from councillors, from other community leaders. When is it? And I'm like, oh yeah, we'll do a save the date soon. And so we're on calendars now, and it does feel good for sure.
Former boss of mine who passed away last year said, tell them what you're going to do it really well, tell them what you did. You're both storytellers. How are you going about telling the story of the impact and the importance of World Hijab Day?
Well, see, if I can explain it like this, you talked about having a relationship with Kiran through work, and that's how we met. And our relationship became a really good friendship, just as we mentioned. And this is 10 years later with Kiran and I, and I've learned a lot as well about the culture through Kiran. And I find this event, it takes those 10 years and puts it into a couple of hours, in the sense that we're building friendships are kind of just put out there, and that we're allowing you the opportunity to ask any questions you like, right? And that we're comfortable answering those, right? I still have lots of questions, and it's more comfortable than just to go off to somebody randomly and say, this and that, and why do you wear this, or why do you not wear this, right? So that's this platform that we're allowing everybody to come together and making that friendship in minutes
and also to prevent assumptions. It's so easy to assume. I think they do this because of that, but did you ask them? I'm a journalist, forever. When I hear something, this and that, and I'm like, did you ask the source? Did you go and talk to? No. Who told you? Blah 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 blah. Okay, so no. Let's go talk to the source. So this is the source. We are giving you that platform, like Don said. We're giving you that opportunity to come and ask us those questions, instead of assuming and then hating and then possibly perpetuating that fear and hate in your children. Because again, it goes on and on. Children learn hate, and then they embrace it as adults, and then it's a virus. It's a vicious circle, right? So that's what we're stopping, Russell.
Yeah,
that's what we're
turn it on
trying
its head.
to stop,
Yeah.
right? Don't assume, come and ask questions.
We're talking in the Bridge studio this morning, and it seems to me as I look at this fancy Bridge logo that this event that you do is a bridge. It connects people, cultures, ideas.
Exactly. And that's what we are doing. We're building bridges. The idea is always to come with that open mind, ask questions, and hear from us, and let us hear from you. If you have those questions or if you have those comments, we're there to listen as well. It's not just monologuing, it's a dialogue, right? John, you were going to show everybody how to wear a hijab. Were you going to do it for us?
This is radio. I'll describe it. I can do the play-by.
Are you going to put it on me?
I can help you.
So
Yeah,
Dawn's
sure.
coming down the ice. She's about to get her. You know what?
She's not going to get hurt.
I don't know. Maybe we'll save that for the actual event. But
It looks complex.
It is not.
Yeah.
30 seconds.
Tell you what, we'll take a break, come back. Dawn will try to put on her hijab. I'll do play-by-play.
okay, that's
It'll be painful, but we'll do it. My guests this morning, Kiran Malik-Khan and Dawn Booth with World Hijab Day coming up February 4th at the Peter Pond Mall from 1 to 3. And you're listening to Impact right here on 91.1 The Bridge. And we're back with Impact on a Tuesday morning. My guests today are the two co-founders of World Hijab Day here in Fort McMurray, Kiran Malik-Khan and Dawn Booth. Kiran and I go so far back, I don't even remember.
But I'm younger than him, okay?
I know,
I'm not
she's
his age.
way young.
Yeah.
And Dawn, you've been in the community a long time as well.
10 years, yeah.
Wow.
10
the
years.
times just marches along.
I know,
And
right?
this World Hijab Day is special. It's year 5.
That's right.
Now, you said as part of the event, ladies come and they get to try on the hijab and they get to keep it and take it home.
Yeah.
How do you fundraise to do that? Like, how does that magically happen?
It doesn't magically happen. We have some very generous people in the community, and we are very grateful to them. So first thanks, of course, goes to Pete Pond Mall, who has been our venue for the last 5 years. Huge thank you to them. Shell Retail gas stations have been huge supporters. A1 Towing, since day one, has been there for us. This year, Dr. Mubina Chaudhry was huge in her generosity, and we have United Class Cabs as well this year. Help me out, Dawn. You made the logos and the fast facts.
Yeah,
And who? And we have just it's been very, very generous of everybody to come and support us. We have individual donors as well who'll just give us the money, and that's how we run and do what we need to do, get those brand new hijabs for everybody. Banners, flyers, all that fun stuff. Costs for sure. Right, so yeah, it's the generosity of Fort McMurray.
In the language, the hijab is one thing, the niqab is something else. Are there other terms that we should be aware of in terms of the choices that Islamic women make to clothe themselves?
So that's a really good question. Just from the perspective of religion, Islam says hijab is mandatory. So what I'm wearing right now, that's covering my hair, my chest. That's what's important, as in mandatory. So when you take it a step further, that becomes culture. The niqab, that hides the eyes as well. You'll see in a lot of Arab countries, even in Afghanistan as well. Again, culture. The burqa, where you don't see anything and it just covers the face as well. Again, taking a step further, culturally, not religiously, right? So that's where also it's important to understand, well, what is the religion asking you to do? The religion is asking just to cover the hair, right? And all of the hair. So not a little bit showing, just, there's no, leeway, you don't play with it. So just the way I'm wearing it right now. Others are just, again, like I said, cultural. Extra credit, if women are doing, and that's their choice, extra credit for them on it, but not mandatory for sure. Hijab, though, mandatory for sure.
If you choose to practice in that way.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It needs to come from the heart. Your dad, your father, your son, your cousin, uncles cannot ask you to do the hijab because, again, it needs to come from the heart. And you need to be able to say as a woman, hey, I'm going to do this for God, for me, and to make God happy because I want to do that.
Dawn, a question for you as a resident of Fort McMurray who is not Islamic or a Muslim. Did I say it right? It's not
Muslim.
It's Muslim.
Yeah.
And as a parent, why is this event important to you from those two perspectives, as a community member and as a parent?
As a parent, I teach my children. I don't teach them. I guess I show them that we're no different. Than one another, right? And I guess, like you said, a decade ago, maybe things were different, and the community is getting more multicultural and diverse. And to see somebody wearing a hijab, it's not. You might not even notice it because it's so natural. So, as a parent, this is important because just having those, because you're having those conversations and you're showing that, hey, this can be fun, and this is why we're these women were wearing them, and that it's all natural and it's normal, and we can all live together and like I said before, do our own things and by our own choice, and it should be just that.
Our children go to school.
Yeah. And
the fact is, a growing percentage of the students that they learn with every single day are Muslim. And they probably don't have those conversations. Kids, they don't converse the way we do as adults. But it's great to share understanding about a beautiful culture that surrounds us. And I've always, I grew up in a town where we had one black man, a Jew, and one Muslim man.
Yeah.
Muslim man. Sorry, I keep screwing that up. And that was diversity to me. And so with my children, I've been very grateful that they have grown up in a multicultural place.
Right.
Yeah, we're helping raise the next generation of global citizens.
Absolutely we are.
That's what we're doing. So you take it one step further, and if you want to analyze it through the socioeconomic lens, which we don't do at World Hijab Day, but hey, why not? For just a few seconds here, we are teaching respect. And we're teaching everybody is the same despite our differences. And that you are now living in that global village that is in your hands when you pull up anything on your cell phone. But that's, you said, children don't talk the way we adults do, but these children are the adults of tomorrow. So
Yeah,
if they're
and
seeing
they're growing
it,
in it. This is their, like, maybe
is
it's
normal
different
to
to
them.
us, but it's normal to them, right?
Absolutely.
So maybe they'd actually be surprised, like, oh, well, what's this all about? Because that's normal to me, right?
Yeah.
So
and it is normal. That's the
Yeah,
idea.
that's
There's
just
nothing
it, yeah.
abnormal about different religions or cultures or someone who doesn't look like you. So there's no need to even use the word normal because it's life and it's around us and it's just another day. And that's the idea, right?
If you're listening this morning and this is somewhat calling to you, I would invite you right now to take out your phone or whatever, however the way you manage the details of your life, and pop it into your calendar right now. It's World Hijab Day. It's 1 to 3 o'clock at the Peter Pond Mall on February 4th. Is that a Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday from 1 till 3, Peter Pond Mall. Put it in there. And then it'll pop up and you go, oh, yeah. And you can go visit Kiran and Dawn and all the rest of their volunteers. Try on a hijab. You'll get to keep one.
Yes, you do.
Ask any question that's you've wondered about for the longest time, and you're going to get it answered.
Absolutely.
It's a marvelous thing. Thank you, ladies, for coming in today.
thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
having
Thank
us,
you, Russell, for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Kiran Malik-Khan and Dawn Booth, co-founders of World Hijab Day in Fort McMurray, coming up February 4th. You've been listening to Impact. It is a team effort of United Way, Fuse Social, Shaw TV, Fort McMurray. Thanks, Matt and Steph here at 91.1 for doing a great job operating and not making me press any buttons. We'll see you next week for Impact.